Hello YouTube, my name is Isabella and today I'm going to be doing another 5-star predictions video and wrapping up a couple that I've done before. The plan is to be in and out and do this very quickly, and I will have the creator of the original video linked down below, Mercy from Mercy's Bookish Musings. This is a fun staple really now for me. I love trying to suss out and figure out books that I might possibly give 5 stars, even though I tend to be a little picky. I'm going to wrap up the 2 most recent rounds that I did, because I did 2 essentially almost back to back when I wasn't fully caught up, if that makes any sense. We're wrapping up 2 and giving another set of 5 that I think are going to be 5-star predictions, starting with the ones that I posted in November of last year. So the round that I posted in, I think, of November of last year was actually really successful on. There were 5 books that I mentioned. I always do these in 5-book installments. 2 out of the 5 both got 3 stars from me. That was Gods of Jade and Shadow by Silvia Moreno Garcia and Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. This book I wanted to love a lot more. I think it had to deal with the audiobook, so I might actually return to it in some point in time. Leviathan Wakes I thought was just okay, but I hope to continue on in the series, and I have a whole review if you're interested in my thoughts on my thoughts. The other 3 books, however, all got glowing 5 stars from me, and I'm super impressed with past me for getting that. There was Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse, 5 stars, one of the best of 2020. I have a review for this one as well if you're interested. I love this book. Also, side note, have you seen the new cover? The cover for the next book? Oh, I hate it. It's awful. I haven't gotten to talk about it yet, but it sucks. Blood Witch by Susan Dennard, which I finished only about a month or 2 ago. Also loved. Also now have finally friggin' posted a review for it because I was procrastinating. Loved it. 5 stars. Best in the series so far. My total wild card, because I tend to throw a wild card on here, and my wild card actually was a 5-star, which is shocking. That's You Bring the Distant Year by Maitali Perkins. This is a young adult generational coming of age story, and I loved it. 5 stars. I think I talk about it in my April wrap up if you're interested, but this book is great. The next set of books though that I thought were going to be 5 stars sadly were a bust. I only gave 1 of the 5 of them 5 stars. You know, we'll start with the good on this version. I posted this one I think in March, early March, because there were a lot of books that I had recently purchased that I also thought I'd possibly give 5 stars to, so I posted that one then. And I was kind of wrong on this one. The only one I actually gave 5 stars to was Ring Shout by Peta Jelly Clark. I love this little weird speculative historical fiction book. Short, snappy, and I loved it. 5 stars. I think one of the first times I've ever given a novella a full glowing 5 stars. I think this one is amazing. 2 from that stack I liked a lot but didn't love as much as I wanted to. Spoiler alert by Olivia Dade. Contemporary romance, one of my sort of wild cards. Gave it 4 stars. Really enjoyed but not perfect. And The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden also gave a pretty high 4 stars. I had a little bit of difficulty with the audiobook again, but then halfway through switched to the physical and it worked a lot better. Super excited and interested to continue on in the series at some point in time. And the 2 bummers, ones that I thought I was really gonna love, obviously, and didn't. A total wild card was Miracle Creek by Angie Kim, courtroom thriller. Heard a lot of good reviews and I ended up giving it 3 stars. Not my style, and I just didn't love the way things panned out. It kind of was a bummer. And then The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. I liked it, but didn't love it. Had a bit of issues with the way the story itself was constructed. Was not the glowing 5-star that I thought I was going to give it. Kind of a bummer. We're going to move on to the actual new predictions for this round, and this go around I went entirely in a speculative direction. There are no contemporaries, no romances, nothing. These are all speculative books, and I believe they are all adult titles as well. I also allowed myself to browse my Kindle and choose a couple books from there, because usually I try to stick with books that I own physically, but I don't know, there are a couple books on my Kindle that I really want to read and I think I will give 5 stars to, and this video will give me the excuse to actually prioritize them, because I'm constantly prioritizing my physical TBR. My Kindle gets left to the dust. The first book I think I could give 5 stars to is, name is escaping me at the moment, An Unkindness of Ghosts by Rivers Solomon. This is Rivers Solomon's first book that they ever published, and I think I'm going to love it because I have loved everything else that they have written. This is a speculative story set on, I believe, a spacecraft that is modeled after the antebellum South, and our main character Aster, she, I believe, like lives in the deep slums of this ship. And apparently like civil war and such is starting to brew on this ship. I think I'm going to love this story. I think this could possibly be the first Rivers Solomon book that I give 5 stars to. I have been so close to giving both of their other books 5 stars, that being The Deep, which high 4 stars, absolutely love that novella, really interesting story, and their newest book, what's it called, The Sorrows and Sorrowland, which I read earlier this year and gave it like 4.5, but rounded up 5 stars. Like, excellent storytelling. Rivers Solomon's books, especially Sorrowland, got like really weird, but it was kind of weird I was really into. So I think that their first book I could give 5 stars. I desperately want to read this book and like get caught up with their stories, and I think this video is a perfect excuse for me to read this book. The other Kindle book, I'm going to knock these out back to back, that I think I'm going to give 5 stars to is a self-pub book that everyone and their mother raves about on the adult SFF side of things, and I think I'm also going to love it, and that's The Sword of Kaigan by M.L. Wong. This is an adult, standalone, self-published fantasy story that literally has everyone obsessed with it when they read it, so I'm down. I think it's time I read it too. I honestly don't really know so much about this story. All I know is that it follows a mother figure, like that's our main character, and everyone loves her. They think that she's super fierce and great, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is a very political fantasy that has its really upsetting moments, so I'm interested to see if I do love it. Literally nearly every person I follow has given this a glowing 5 stars, and I'm so excited to read it. It's a self-pub fantasy, which I would love to read more of, but when you're constantly prioritizing the stuff you already own, other goals like that kind of get pushed to the wayside. Hopefully I read this book fairly soon, and I just want to be in on it. So many people love this story. The book I'm probably the most confident on that I'm going to love is a book I've been dying for it to come out, and it literally just came in the mail yesterday, and I'm so excited, and that's She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. This is pitched as Mulan meets the Song of Achilles. How is there no pitch on the back of this? That's so stupid. They don't have any of the synopsis on here. It's a bold, queer, and lyrical reimagining of the founding emperor of the Ming Dynasty. Yeah, set in like 1345 China, and it's a historical fantasy reimagining. I am down for this. This is also literally blurbed by so many people I know of or want to read from or already love, like S.A. Chakraborty, Rebecca Roanhorse. This has gotten all the buzz behind it. This is the first in another trilogy, which I am hesitant to start another damn trilogy, but I think I'm gonna love this book, and honestly I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be reading it next month anyway, so I had to put it on one of these lists. I'm convinced I'm going to love it. It's also significantly shorter than I thought. I don't know if I've just seen only pictures of the hardcover, but it's only like 400 pages. Book 4 on this list, I'm kind of going off on a limb here for, and kind of going off the reviews of others specifically. I think I could give it 5 stars, and it's A Memory Called Empire by Arkady Martine. This is a sci-fi, which I tend to struggle with sometimes, especially space opera-esque ones, which I think this is. It follows a woman who is an ambassador for a planet, headed somewhere to like a summit or something, but her predecessor was murdered and nobody wants to like admit to it, so she's stuck in this like new setting, trying to be an ambassador and also figure out what happened to her predecessor. And I think a lot of politicking ensue, with also the littlest bit of murder mystery. People absolutely fucking love this duology, and I'm just so excited to give it a shot. It won the Hugo last year, and I think I could love it. I honestly can't even remember the last sci-fi book I gave like an absolutely glowing 5 stars towards. It is not my preferred genre. Obviously my preferred genre is fantasy, but I want to love it. I want to give it a try. I want to read more sci-fi. So I hope I give this 5 stars. The last book, I've been putting off reading it for a very petty reason. And that's Red Sister by Mark Lawrence. I think I'm going to give this 5 stars. I've been intending to read this series for years and still been putting it off. Is it because mainly this is a mass market paperback and I hate reading mass market? Maybe, but I think I'm going to love it. This follows assassin nuns. The pitch for it is very vague. I don't actually know much of the plot other than that our main character is growing up learning to be an assassin nun. Then our main character's violent and secret past finds her out, drawing with it the tangled politics of a crumbling empire. Pretty standard plot pitch here, but I think I'm going to love it. So many people love this series, and I'm going to trust them this time. Hopefully I don't get burnt again with another assassin book that shall not be named. But I think I'm going to love this. I hope I do. I've been intending to read these books for so long. So now I actually have to read this mass market, which I've been putting off for so long. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of any of my new picks, and if you actually think I'll give it 5 stars, or if you have any opinions on them. I'd love to know that down in the comments below. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye!